How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we're going to talk about some gun control measures that is coming from the House Democrats. They introduced a bill on January 8th of this year called the Bipartisan Background Checks Act. This is on the 8-year anniversary of former U.S. House Rep for Arizona, Gabby Giffords, being shot. Very traumatic situation. That was a mass shooting. She was shot in her head and suffered a traumatic brain injury as a result. In that particular shooting, you had 24 people that were shot, 6 were killed, 18 were injured, and she was very badly injured. Before she was shot, Gabby Giffords was not a gun control person. You would see her at the range and everything else, but now, ever since she's been shot, she's been kind of the face of gun control. The House Democrats introduced this bill back on January 8th. Now, they want to bring it to the floor this week for a vote. Now, what this bill actually would mean is that private gun sales will be outlawed. You would need a background check for a private gun sale. So, prime example, let's say I have a neighbor that is looking for a gun. I cannot sell him that gun. I might not even be able to give it to him without going through this extensive background check. Now, if you ask the Democrats, if you ask anybody that's for gun control, for the most part, they'll say, well, this is a good thing because we want to stop mass shooters. The problem with that is most mass shooters got their gun either through passing the background check, the legal, correct way like they want, or they stole their guns. Okay? And when you're talking about mass shootings, what is a mass shooting? Some would just say the incident, the traumatic situation that happened to Gabby Gifford in Tucson was a mass shooting, and of course it was. But what about just every day in the hood, in regular everyday cities where a club gets shot up, a parking lot gets shot up, a funeral gets shot up, a birthday party gets shot up? I've seen stories where 10 people get shot at once, and it's not labeled as a mass shooting. And a lot of these shootings, you have stolen guns, you have felons with guns that are stolen. A lot of that doesn't really get reported. The problem here is not the way that the guns are sold. The problem here is not the gun. The problem is the people that have the guns. Understand this. Making more legal barriers to entry into gun ownership will just make the average everyday citizen more susceptible to crimes and to criminals, people that have guns that don't really care about your laws. They don't care. If you're talking about people in the street that just want to hurt people, they want to kill people, they want to rob people, they're not following gun laws. They don't care about that, okay? And some of those that do follow gun laws wind up doing very heinous things with their firearm because the problem ain't the gun. The problem is these people that are out there. A lot of mental illness going on, people that are disenfranchised. I mean, you got to solve that problem first because let's just say by some stroke of, I don't know, magic, you're able to just eliminate all guns from planet Earth. Well, you still got a problem with people getting ran over by cars. I mean, we've seen incidents of that happen overseas and right here in the States. So what's to prevent that from happening again, from somebody getting behind the wheel of their car, truck, or whatever, and just ramming people down, you know? And then you got homemade bombs that are made. You got Molotov cocktails. You got people that go on knife rampages. That happen in China. It happens in UK. It happens here in the States. So there's always a way for people to hurt people if they really want to, even if you were just magically able to get rid of all the guns. But back to reality for a moment. You're not just going to get rid of all the guns in one fell swoop. It ain't going to happen. There are more guns just out in private hands than there are people in the USA. So how are you going to get rid of guns? The answer to gun violence is to have more security in a lot of these places and to have less stringent gun laws. And a lot of the areas where you've had mass shootings, you have gun-free zones, gun-restricted areas, high gun control areas. Chicago has some of the worst gun violence in the country, yet also some of the tightest gun laws in the country. So how do you have both? Well, you got a lot of regular normies that are being victimized by those who don't care about gun laws, who are following gun laws themselves. You understand what I'm saying? The regular normie is going to say, well, I can't go out and get a gun because it's illegal. I don't want to get arrested. I don't want to get in trouble with the law. The guy that's out there in the street that will victimize that person says, I don't care about laws. I don't care about any of that. I'm going to do what I want to do. Okay. These guys are going mass shooting rampages. They hit soft targets, or what they perceive to be soft targets, college campuses, political rallies, high school campuses, middle school campuses, because they know that nobody's going to really be able to stop them. Okay. Look what happened in Parkland, Florida, where you had the officer outside who did not go in. What if the teachers were allowed to be armed? Now, I'm not saying that you should arm teachers, but what if they were allowed to be? Having less access to guns or more difficult access to guns will not solve the issue of violence in our country. This bill won't really go anywhere. The House Democrats, they have control, so they're going to put it to the floor for a vote. But it won't pass the Senate, which is Republican control, and it definitely won't go past the president and have him sign off on it. Because, first of all, you're talking about a constitutional violation. It's funny how the left brings up the Constitution when they want it to benefit them, but not when it actually matters. In a case like this, you're talking about the Second Amendment, that'll definitely violate that. So this would not get anywhere. And as I close, I want to say this. To all those out there that are talking about the right-wing nut jobs, conspirators, or whatever, saying that the left wants to take your guns, and that's not really true. This is the first step of many first steps towards gun confiscation, towards so-called gun-free America. Gun-free when you're talking about regular law-abiding citizens, not gun-free when you're talking about the criminals or those who are forced to become criminal because they are law-abiding citizens that do not want to give up their guns. Okay? Things like this are designed to chip away at the Second Amendment. Just chip away little by little. They're not going to just come out and say, okay, give up your guns right now. Go to your nearest police station and give them up. They're not going to say that. What they're going to say is, okay, let's limit private gun sales. Let's limit sales of this accessory. Let's jack up the price of ammunition. Let's have guns in less quantities. You know, all these little rules that just compound upon each other that create an effective gun-free state for civilians, not for police, not for military, not for criminals, not for a lot of people. It's also part of communism where you have, everybody's equal except for a few people, but that's a whole different story. And for now, I digress. That is pretty much all I got to say. So what say you? Do you think that this is a good bill to limit the ability of regular people to sell their guns privately? If you think that way, please explain to me why can't my dad sell me his old little pistol? I mean, what's wrong with that? Or even a rifle? Okay, we're not talking about selling illegal guns. We're talking about selling legal guns. If I have a gun that's illegal, it's illegal regardless of what I do with it afterwards. Whether I sell it privately, publicly, it's illegal regardless. We're talking about legal guns. If I bought it legally, why can't I sell it? To whoever I want to sell it to. It's my gun. It's my property. Or do we not have private property? Again, going back to communism. Do we not have private property? If I have a car, can I not sell that privately? Can I not go on Craigslist right now and sell my car? But somebody could take that car and run over a whole parade at Christmas time. Does that mean that you can't have your car be sold privately? I mean, let's just follow the logic and see where it actually lies. Am I right here with my assertion? Am I wrong? Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.